Yes, we are talking about Lagos, where we expect everyone to wise up. And this is my Lagos experience on your loving darling station, Ipako Radio, situated here in Ipako Ijai, local government, Lagos, Nigeria. We welcome everybody. This is a wonderful weekend, and we say, how are you doing wherever you are? I am yours truly, the mayor of Lagos City. I am Olanireti Olusegun, and I welcome you to this wonderful edition of my Lagos Experience. And I won't be doing this alone. I have with me in-house in Lagos a wise man, so to say, and is no other person than Barrister Olayinka Kujembola. The Lord, we are pleased to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much for inviting us. We are most grateful to you.
Thank you. Yes, Barrister Olayinka Kujembola happened to be the former president of the National Association of Ipako Ijai students, an original Lagos man. And I also know him to be a pastor. I want to believe that the people of Ipako Ijai, Lagos and Nigeria, know him to be a pastor as well. And briefly, sir, without mixing words, we want to hear from you directly. Give us a bit about yourself and connection with Lagos State.
Well, thank you very much, the Mayor of Lagos. My name is Olayinka Kujembola, born and brought up here in Lagos State, Ipako Ijai local government. Well, so far, we've been here all the while, and what we do is we practice law in Lagos here, and we, by the grace of God, we are called also into the ministry. And for so many years, we've been here running affairs in Lagos State. I schooled all my life in Lagos State here. Attended Lagos State African Church Primary School. Attended Lagos
African Church Primary School is there in Ipako Ijai?
Yes, one. I attended Lagos State African Church Grammar School.
Wow. Also here in Ipako Ijai. Good.
I also moved to the higher institution. I attended Lagos State University.
Lagos.
So all my life I've been here in Lagos, and so far so good. Lagos has largely contributed to our lives, our upbringing, our vision, our purpose, our destiny in all. So Lagos, that's how we've been so far.
Beautiful. But how will you describe your Lagos experience so far? Looking at it from the academic perspective, your youthful days, yes, you are still youthful. Your career as a lawyer, how has it been?
Well, Lagos State that's giving us the opportunity. In Lagos here, you see that there are opportunities everywhere. Only those who have the same hands,
yes,
who are determined, will always break through the ranks.
Good.
Lagos State has afforded the opportunities everywhere in Lagos. You see, on every team you come across in Lagos, there is a treasure, there is an opportunity that is embedded in wherein. So when we were growing up, you see, even when we were going to school, when you could afford school fees to go to school, you will find out there are tutorial centers where you can teach.
Yeah, in Lagos.
In Lagos,
okay.
Yeah. And from there you make stipend at which you can take yourself to school. Even after school, you know, one thing about Lagos I know is that there is nothing you can do, you want to do in Lagos that will not be profit oriented. At the end of the day, you will ensure that you make some profit.
So it has to do with your own willingness.
Determination. You must be determined. You know, there is this saying that says the world steps aside, and let him pass. The man who knows where he's going to. If you stand at Oba or if I any bus stop here, just take 2 sticks and start eating it on each other. Just be eating it. One person will start to look at what
will attract
someone. So from there, and when you are consistent doing it, you will see that it will be developing your character, forming your person and your vision, and trying to unveil the real person on your inside.
So what you're saying in essence is that your Lagos experience has been beautiful.
Very young, very young, right from my scratch.
Wow.
From my day one, I was born in Lagos State, and I've grown all through my Lagos experience as afforded on the opportunities. That is the position.
So talking about a typical day in Lagos, how will you describe it?
Lagos, in a sense of the schedule, Lagos is a busy state. When you wake up in the morning by 3:30, you see people going somewhere.
Definitely.
You wake up, by 12 p.m., 8 a.m. in the night. People are just moving from one junction to another. So Lagos has always been very busy. And under that, you see people are driving somewhere to make ends of their living. People are going somewhere to achieve a goal. So while we do this, we also have people that have the ulterior motive.
Definitely.
So it's a two-edged sword, two-way stand. People are doing.
So it depends on where you kill,
are going to that,
and also depends on your own identity.
That's
so what do you love most about Lagos? Living in Lagos.
Well, what can I say in particular one thing? Let me see. I may not be able to say one particular.
Okay.
You know, but in the overall essence, I can say that Lagos State is a land of opportunities. You will always find opportunity doing something. You will always find hope living in Lagos.
You seem to be emphasizing on the opportunities of Lagos. I want to believe that means that you are a beneficiary of the Lagos opportunities.
Yes, I can say that emphatically, that I have benefited from Lagos State. Lagos State has given us the rooms to build on ourselves. You mentioned National Senior Faculty student. I was the president at that time. That afforded me opportunity to meet with the who is who in the local government. That also helped me in my development towards the Lagos State at large. So the connections, the link that particular time provided us, it's one of those things that we are able driving out today. That gave us the confidence, the character, the enablement to see that there is no roadblock anywhere.
And to stand tall in Lagos.
That's it.
That means that from what you have said so far, you've not lived outside Lagos prior to now?
I have.
Okay.
I went to law school in 2000. I was in Kano, Bagauda. That was the only time I was outside Lagos State. But it was one of my trying times in my life. After my law school, I was also posted to Niger State for my field service. I was there for 3 weeks. I could not withstand the heat, the scorching sun, the weather in Mina. So after 3 weeks orientation, I had to rush back to Lagos to continue my day-to-day activity.
So while you were in law school,
yes,
what exactly did you miss about Lagos?
Yes, like I said earlier on, the busy schedule of Lagos, the people, all set of human beings, both the wise, the foolish. You see all kind of people in Lagos State. You see somebody who is getting mad. You will see somebody who is already mad. So if you say you are mad, you will say
somebody that is more mad than you.
So you just have to maintain your name. So in Lagos, in Kano that time that I was in Kano, so I can't really say specific because I'm not the kind of person I don't go out. I am not in. So for that 1 year I was within the wall of Bagauda. Except once in a while we go to Sabon to the market to buy 1 or 2 things. So I missed the opportunities that Lagos afforded. I missed the busy schedule of Lagos. I missed the open Lagos created for us.
So for you as a person, how do you manage with the pictures and qualities you've described about the Lagos people? The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly. How do you manage? There's no doubt in my mind that you come across these people in your day-to-day activities. How do you manage the Lagos people within your own company?
Well, like you said, I occupy a grower office. I am the legal practitioner.
Okay.
Again, by the grace of God, we are called as a pastor on the buyer. So in managing that, one needs the wisdom of God. It is the wisdom of God. You see, if you are not really serious, you cannot find your place in wisdom. If you are not determined. Because someone will come to harass you.
Sure.
Someone going to intimidate you. Someone going to water down your ego. So number one thing is you need the fear of God. Number two, you must be resolute minded. You must know where you are going to. You must know what you want to achieve in life. So by and large, God has been our navigator. He has been our guiding ship, which we look up to even in Lagos. Because there are so many people that are mad in Lagos. There are so many people that are crazy in Lagos. There are so many people that are talented. You see, all over in Nigeria, we have the most talented youth in Lagos State. So above all is God, the fear of God, in trying to balance the equation in Lagos with people around you, and also your mindset.
So has there been any time, talking about being mad in Lagos, because there are people that are mad everywhere.
Yeah.
Has there been any time that you were also driven to being moved to or being pushed to being mad, being influenced by some very terrible activities or actions?
Not at all. Not at all. The only thing I want to try to remember was one of those days we were just growing up, and there was this Nokia phone that came out that time.
Okay.
This new called Nokia. I can't remember the name. So I was able to gather some money, and I went to computer village. Let me also form like a big boy. So I tried to buy the phone. So I was just going in computer village. So I saw someone brandishing the phone. This is the phone I want to buy.
For.
Yeah. I want to buy. He said yes. How much buy? I think 7,000. He laughed. He said no. That phone at that time was like maybe 20 something thousand or thereabout. I said that the money I have. He said we give it to me.
Wow.
Yeah. I said no problem. Are you sure? He asked him to bring money. So he said he wants to bring the charger so that I can give him the charger. So he handed over the phone to me. I collected the charger. I left them in excitement, and when I got
in a good spirit.
Yes. When I got to the Ikeja bus stop, when I opened the phone, I realized that it was tissue they packed inside the phone.
Wow. Oh my God.
Tissue. So one of the that was crazy. I went back to that junction to say, where is this guy that in a couple of minutes,
and he would have disappeared.
So I was crazy. I came back home and I told my elder brother. My elder brother was all these people connected like 3, 4, 5 friends in Ipakojaye. So we moved to Ikeja.
That same day.
Yeah, that same day.
Wow.
So we're trying to be crazy, the accident. So we wanted to be crazy to show them that they don't have the monopoly of money. So when we got there, one of our friends, or some family called the chairman of that area. And he said, okay, I know those boys that they called them. He said, okay, they should report my money. So they have shared the money.
Wow.
Eventually, they were able to recover some funds and handed over to me. So at that time, Lagos State could move into the mad time. Then you must also put the fear of God in all of that.
So Nigerians, Lagosians, and the good people of Ipakojaye, you are hearing from the law himself, Barrister Olayinka Kujembola, sharing his own Lagos experience here on My Lagos Experience, Ipako Radio Online. And you can join us by dropping your comments, questions, recommendations, suggestions. On Facebook is Ipako Radio. On X, Ipako Radio. On Instagram, Ipako_radio. On YouTube, Ipako Radio. On our WhatsApp channel, Ipako Radio. And we'll be back after this short music break.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we welcome you back to Lagos, My Lagos Experience. Lagos, where you have unlimited opportunities. It is unlike to you to tap into it, to key yourself in that Lagos opportunities and ensure that you get engaged. And there is no way you can miss out if only you are ready. The law already stated that you only need to be determined. Yes, Barrister, let's look at your most memorable experience in Lagos. We want to look at the good and the bad. Would you like to share that, sir?
The good, the bad, the good. Let me see. I've really ever had any one of those times, those days when I was under the history of General Sani Abacha.
Okay.
It was the most cracking time of our history, of our time, that things were so apt. No, that time there was scarcity of fuel. I think that should be 1990. No? After a matter of 1990, general election. Fuel was scarce, and that was when we now invented this Abacha stove.
With sawdust,
you get the
sawmill to pass
and put bottle inside it. It was so terrible.
And people can be so innovative.
I'm telling you, that's one of those opportunities you find in Lagos. So that period was so, they were trying times for us. And that's why we say that there is no how we can complain in a democracy. The best of military governments, you can't compare it to the worst of democracy.
Sure.
Power corrupts. And they say absolute power corrupts. So
absolutely.
you can imagine the military time at that time. Things were so hard. There was no, this opportunity we're talking about when they were not available. You have to just eat hard and think on what to do. And there are these block roads that do not allow you to move ahead.
But I want to believe that despite the hardship, then some people, with the fact that it is Lagos, will still maneuver, and one way or the other, it will be their own season of Israel.
Maybe to some extent, but you can, at that time, is who knows who.
Okay, selected.
Yes, if the connection is not strong, if you don't know the powers that be, you might not be able to climb to the height. Let me give you an instance. I don't know if I can share this with you.
Yeah, it's a welcome to
look, in those days, when you are a lawyer and you're just called to the bar, you will serve. Yes, service is good. You need to go to the court to it. And you have to go 2 years, round years. It was under the administration of this our president, Ashiwa Development in Lagos State. Another, at that time, the former vice president of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, was the Attorney General. They came up with the tenancy law. So in all of legal issues in Lagos State, if you cannot lay hands on anything as a young lawyer, then there are laws on tenancy rules, tenancy laws that you can latch onto, that people can still trust you. Oh, help me to issue notice to quit to my tenants. From there you are making
little stipend.
Yes.
At
From there your brain is being expanded. You are learning through the ranks. Give notice to quit, 7 days notice, go to court, file a writ of summons in court. So it is this opportunity we're talking about. That by that law of that year, 2011, and thereabouts, it was amended to 2011. This afforded us the opportunities to grow with. Unlike in the military government, it's all the tribunal panel that you have to go to. Lawyers are not most time allowed to go in for that tribunal. There are no stricto sensu laws, rules that guide the tenancy at that time. But now under this democracy, you have the laws, you have the rules, you have where to can fall back on. So if someone is even in misbehaving, there are laws now that have well been articulated that you can fall back on. Even last month, this our last month that are behaving funny. The normal people behaving funny. There are laws that guide them. So that's why Lagos State, if anybody wants to take laws into his hand, you can always fall back. I think this is what the law says.
The law, quickly, I want us to look at those 3 agencies, okay, or should I say 2 agencies and the tenancy law that you referenced, LASMA, LOMA, and let's get started with the tenancy law. Okay, now in Lagos, if you move around, you discover that there's this very high rate of rent, and it's on the high side, seriously on the high side. Before you can rent an apartment now, you have to bleed through your nose. And at the same time, we see landlords wanting to evict you as soon as possible in a bid to get all these agency, commission and all of you at the expense of Lagosians. And this is one of the general major experiences of Lagosians, most especially those that are still looking up to God to get their own accommodation. What can be done?
I think we should start from where we're coming from.
Okay.
Now, when we reflect on where we're coming from.
Yeah, sure.
In those days, in Lagos, I'm aware that landlord at that time, if you are owing a month's rent, the landlord will move on the rooftop, get the connector, and remove the zinc. Not minding whose ox is God. Whether it's rainfall or what have you. So it can push you overnight. Then we went back now for some years now. There is this law that has been galvanized. That you cannot just harass, intimidate the tenants in a bit to evict them out of the place. Section 44 of the Tenancy Law of Lagos State provide that if there is anyone, landlord trying to harass, intimidate, it's a criminal offense. Anyone that is convicted on that will be sentenced to 6 months imprisonment, or you pay the sum of I think maybe 400,000 of as fine. So these laws at that time that was articulated that we had was able to curtail the excesses of the landlords.
But this law being implemented?
Yes, it is. It has been implemented. That's why when you go to court, most of the cases we file in magistrate court is all these tenancy laws, so that the landlord does not take laws into his hand to just push a tenant out of the premises. However, if you look at the law holistically, that law is safe practice. It gives more support to tenants. Because tenants could be in the house, you are owing for like 1 year, 2 years, you don't pay. Nobody can come to harass you. In order to evict you, you must go through the process of the law. And the process of the most time, the wheels of justice grind slowly. At times, though it grinds final, but it grinds slowly. So the landlord who is on the receiving end might not appreciate that process, but there is law in place. You are tamed by that law. That is one of the reasons why we have this hype in the rents. Okay, if you want to rent my apartment, you must pay. We are not supporting that, but that is the trend. That is the trend in Lagos State to extent that I know. And you know that Lagos State is a cosmopolitan city which is growing every day. People are coming, people are trooping. So one of the ways to regularize that is that the Lagos State government needs to also make a new law. There must be a departure from that 2011 tenancy law to a new law by which all the rental value of particular areas must be specifically articulated.
Yes, there's
so you don't go beyond, and that's
that.
one. The second leg of it is that most of these rent increment is not even caused by landlords.
Really?
Yes, most of them is caused by this agency, these agent people who go about trying to, like
to make their own money.
Make money. I had an experience at the time that, these agent people, when they rent house, assuming they rent house for 200,000, they don't care to collect 400,000 as agency fee. So they must be to regulate the activities of the agent who are in rent. They are buying the landlord to increase the rent. And people are paying this asking who also put POP. And the landlord who is also willing to make more money. And at the expense of the tenant, innocent tenant. So when the law is in place, I look at the law will be fair. And when the law is in place, everybody that is called then you have to face the issue.
All right, moving forward, let's also look at the operation of last. Yes, since that they've been introduced, added value, but not at the expense of motorists, commuters as well. We tend to see most of all these last part misbehaving, abusing that authority that has been granted them to discharge some duty. In some occasions, you see them hiding in some corner instead of them to make themselves visible for people to yes, but they are not really doing that. Most of them just want to make money, expand their own port, and you see Lagosians telling us that most last month now you see them making daily trade of about 10,000 naira. The money they are even making not going into the ports or the government that put them in. What can be done to check their assets? All these things no.
Because we don't know our life that has tried to government. So they abuse it. When they abuse it, they are abusing it. Right here, right our account. However, let us not also forget that the things are getting better. I listened to Facebook, one of them was just and one last man came out and said, of 20,000. And you know, once they are arrested, if anyone is on your hand or abuses the law, there is always a superior officer to report it. They make us a know thank you, so that I can go. We are always involved. Okay, somebody has to stand up one day. Don't put any officers. You see that guy was reported. When he was reported, he was displeased. And that is teaching them lessons. Those that are standing now, most of them now are now trying to maintain their control. They are trying to work with the people that created agency. So anyone that is found that is going out, all of them that is them at the bottom, is part of the complaint. They are where they can just arrest anybody. They can even try to copy your training.
Yes. As a matter of fact, that has led to series of accidents. And the way they even chase all right, let's also move to the issue of Loma that you mentioned. The court recently stated that will you agree with that? Okay, let me continue so that you can take care of the issue. That when you go to the streets of Europe, despite the public, a lot of people go and talk to the on the that we have been watching. A lot of people are still not patronizing Loma. While some residents will also feel that they don't know much to find the residents. So because of that, we said, what do you think about that? Anyway, what is everyone they look at our people. All people up and down. What is that about? How we are from can't have out of every place. So we can't be from people. What was so easy? What was don't on the same way. You can't don't get people to do that. Everything of those only so despite all of the saying about what all right, we'll go on to that short music break now. Yes, I will welcome you back to my Lagos experience here on Ipako Radio. And we still have in the studio here with us Barrister Olayinka Ujembola. And I remain yours truly, the Mayor of Lagos City, Olanireti Olusegun. Let's talk about the challenges and the difficulties you face as a student in Lagos. Has there been any?
There have always been in the process of growing. There are always challenges. And someone once said before that if you are going on a road and there are no challenges, it's better you check where you're going yourself so that you are not going the wrong way. So there are the challenges, growing up in Lagos State, financial challenges, how to make ends meet, how to finance yourself to school, how to raise money for school fees, buy textbooks. And I remember in that year, 200 level, Lagos when we went and we were paying 250 200. When we got to 2 or 300,
250 naira.
Yes. As school fees. School fees, 250 naira.
Maybe students at that same level hear that now.
Yeah.
So
the challenge came in 300 level when school fees was increased from 250 naira to 25 naira.
Wow.
So
that was crazy.
The SUG at that time, student union government, protested, went to government.
I want to believe that you were part of.
I was. I was into activism on campus. I was actually into activism in my 100 level, 20 level, 300 level. So when I got to 400 level, I said, let me just go, So we protested and the government was able to create a kind of timetable by which you can display the payment so as not to,
but there was no reduction.
No reduction. So that was a challenging time. School fees payment and people are changing. Lights in Lagos State, electricity now is stable. It's high. We're paying to our nurses. It's all one of the challenges. And traffic in those days, all the time, Lagos State, Lagos and traffic used to be 5 and 6. But you see, things are different. Things are changing. We must give kudos to the leadership of the Lagos State. So my growing time was usually the financial bottleneck at that time, the fiscal things to get those things done.
Yes, Lagos is known for its energy.
Yes.
And now you still through the hurdles of being a student and the challenges. Professionally, has there been any challenge in Lagos, peculiar to Lagos?
Peculiar to Lagos. It's not really peculiar in the courts. You go to court, you get to court, most time the court, the judges might not sit. Maybe I go to court, some of the judges come to the court sit by 9 or so soon thereafter. Another judge may decide to come by 11.
There's nothing you can do.
They are my lords, they call them to do respect your lordship. So even when they come late, we still say, as the court pleases.
Wow.
So, those are the things we must also check in the court. And by and large, we can say we have been fair. Because of the land of opportunities and the state of excellence. If you are willing, you can always make things into.
So you've been a lawyer and you operate with a confine of time, especially when you want to go to the court of law. How do you manage the Lagos stuff? How do you survive? How do you cope?
In those days, it was they must leave as early as 6:30. Even if you are going to pay ahead, because you are going to envisage traffic, Ikeja Bridge, Oba, even before you leave your area, you have traffic. That time I think they were trying to work on tribal axis. trying to work on. But now you have good road networks. So we should give kudos. Good road network that are linked from Obawale Bay to Ajayi, the one that leads to Fagba, the one that leads to Aruna. So if there is traffic somewhere, we can always find an alternative.
Because there is high cost of living in Lagos. If you look at it generally, some people will tell you they cannot live in Lagos when they visit on PO payment. And it is not everybody that can beat their chest in Lagos and say, I am financially above average, or even I belong to the average class. That I believe that you can do, but how do you think all these people, how do you think they survive, or what advice will you give them on how to survive?
Just find something to do. Find something to do. You know, there's this Yoruba adage that I have at the back of my mind. That's my childhood. My genius then told me the society in the church. Oh, Shaggy, what a big of when you say, taking the man
I don't fall from heaven.
I thought those days it used to go, but now, so like you said, things are hard. Not in Lagos, it's everywhere. The world over. We have friends who are in overseas. They also complain. People they reach also cry. It's just in levels. But we should try to encourage people to find something to do. Like I've said earlier, in Lagos, it's not how it's going to be so hard. With the help of God, find something to just create a small kiosk in front of your house. Somebody will come one day to have patronize you.
I wish everyone is listening to what you're saying, Justin. Because if you move around the street of Lagos, you still see guys, yes, standing at every junction, harassing people, calling for these airports, yes, they'll be raising their hands,
yes,
and a lot of people don't get comfortable with that.
It's that's what we call orientation. There's this national orientation
agency.
They just need to come up. We just need to rise up to the occasion. We are going in our own too, and I know we are going in our own sphere. We are trying to encourage these ones to find something to do, But we can still agree with you that things are changing. In those days when we're growing up, we see a lot of this is happening. But now people are becoming wiser. Because someone that knows you, when you're growing up together, yes, and see what you are doing today, see what I'm doing today. Wisdom will naturally become his partner. If this person will go from this wrong side, it's not the water that will bring the acid. I used to my friend. It's not the water. Because we drink the same water. So it is our heart, it's our mind that has a problem. If your mind is to want to be a perpetual baker, you continue, it's free for you. But once you are determined, I want to see the end of this point. Everybody faces challenges in life. Everybody meets the rock, but don't give up. Don't take no for answer. And that is on my late boss, Tony Fadipo. You can't go out and come back and give him no for answer. No, you must go back. Either you go to police station, either you go to court. There must always be a result. He doesn't mind you stay there till 12 a.m. I start calling. I remember those days I will leave SFU at 12:30 a.m. Coming back to Lagos State. If I call here. And I'll call him and I say, yes, you have done well. Then you must have a yes for answer. Don't close by 7 and say, oh, NEPA has taken light. We can't continue. Find an alternative way to do it. So, by and large, for these younger ones that, move around, I think time will tell. But the little way we can do, we'll do our own part. Government should do our part. But particularly this National Orientation Agency, rising up to the occasion, organize seminars. You agree those days to organize seminars, symposium, and trying to let people know what it's their obligations, what government needs to do, what you need to do as an individual to make a good, like this guy, brighter and rewarding future. Brighter and rewarding future. That is what the government talks about. Once you are determined to see a brighter and rewarding future, stand up to the occasion. No, but we all have two ends. We all have this brain. We all have the legs. It's just our mindset. What do you see yourself?
Yes, the people of the Lagos and Nigeria, you are hearing from the son of the soil himself that somebody who was born and bred in Lagos, most especially in Papoja here, studied from elementary school,
Yes, so
college, to secondary school, to higher institution here in Lagos. We are talking about Barrister Olayinka Ujembola, the son of the soil himself, using the PRF mantra, brighter, rewarding future. But despite all laws, the law, we still have a lot of people that are seriously concerned about the security situation in Lagos. Yes, we will say Lagos is better. Look at the story, the ordeal that you shared at Computer Village. Those guys are still there. It's not that they've been gotten rid of. And it is when they cannot achieve success at that village, you see them moving from there to the street. Sometimes they rob people on the street of the village. They still have, that's correct. I recall my own story about 3 or 4 years ago. I stepped out of this environment. I was on the street here. Yes, as early as 5:30 a.m. What should I say? Between 5 and 5:30, I wanted to get to my office there at Lekki, and I saw a Sienna vehicle. They parked the moment they saw me, and something just dropped in me that I should be careful. When I look at both sides, I discovered that one of them alighted and was looking at me. He pretended as if he wanted to pee. Later, I moved to the main road and he was peeing on the road. Something just told me to pulse back. Fortunately for me, the gate was still open because it was my wife that came to open that gate. And the man ran after me, about 3 of them. I'm talking about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. They ran after me, but to God be the glory, I was fast enough to enter the gate. I bolted it and I called the security on the street. I was lucky. I was just lucky. And a lot of people, yes, a lot of people disappeared. That's in that situation. Where do we go from here? Security.
There is this, I think what we need is what we call community policing. Community policing. You see, the police, they are trying their best, but you can see that their best is not good enough. It's not good enough. So I think we should go towards that line of community policing, whereby the community has their own vigilante who assist the police in doing all things. And you know, like you said, Computer Village at that time. When I was robbed at that Computer Village, I remember there was no police station there. When you get that same spot,
yes, there is a police station.
Right, that same store where you have the police post there, that was where I was robbed.
Wow.
So I know the government would have seen that something is wrong with that junction. There was a post there at the Computer Village. So let's see how it goes. But the effort of the police is not enough. There should be community policing whereby the intelligence and security aides can always take till around that 6 o'clock to sanitize the environment, to raise alarm when things like this are about to happen. Yes, one of our cousins, our friends at Faba here,
Yes.
he was jogging this morning exercise they do. He was jogging, and all these manned guys in the Abatios area came to collect his phone. Probably was dragging the phone with him. They stabbed him, and we lost him. We lost him. It's lost him. So I think community policing will be of good advantage if that can be think of people.
Yes, I will go on another short music break and we will be back after this.
Every night, every day, look out for the better than you. But give me the yes. No love, but I'm better than you. That's it, I'm better
I want to believe I would be corrected on that by the law himself. There is money in Lagos, there are opportunities in Lagos. You only need to be determined to explore and to ensure that you live a good life. Talking about policing in Lagos, let's also look at community and culture in Lagos. How will you describe the people and the community spirit of Lagos?
In Lagos, in community, we know ourselves. There is this, like family. We grow up in the same setting. We know one another. So, in that of brotherhood.
But Lagos is getting porous day by day.
Now you're talking about it. Yes, getting porous by the day, depending on the location you find yourself. Depending on the location you find yourself. Like we now, we're like in the border area of Lagos State. So, getting porous. And particularly this abattoir.
Ghana does this where we can tell from number one, we can mention the names of those residing in one compound or the other to the last. But now there is this influence, yes, in Lagos. As a matter of fact, some people even want to maintain, okay, I stay on my lane, and a situation whereby the high cost of rent in Lagos is not even permitting some people to be able. You see a lot of people that you cannot even identify with a particular profession occupying this house or the other.
You see, we have to a large extent, we have structures in place. We have this placement of structures and bodies to see to this. And I must say at this stage, this junction, that it's not everything that we leave to government to do. Yes. We have the CDAs, we have the CDCs, Community Development Association. So if these CDAs can rise up to the occasion, enjoining landlords that if anyone is coming to rent house in your premises, you must have the details of that person. Where does it work? These are the things we do in the office. So even
I think the Lagos State government is also trying to put up a law to that effect. But unfortunately, yes, I don't think it is effective.
Yes, we must see that they are effective. We must see. And the only way we can see is that the local government, from local government to the CDC, from the CDC to the CBA, let's ensure that these things. So when CDC members or CBA, the chairman of the CBA, come across one person that he does not really is not familiar with, you can stop at particular place. Yes. So where do you stay? What do you do? Who is your landlord? And from them you can take it up. Because the person you don't ask questions now in the day, it might turn to be a landlord in the night that might even do damage to yourself, to that person. So I think the CDC should rise up to the occasion and ensure that these comprehensive details are taken. You can't go to the US, all these states outside the country. You can't just move now. They have your information, they have your details. That if in any flip, once it is pointed or printed on the system, the data, thank you. So and that's how we can help the government is when we see doing, not just collecting money, or what do you call it, developmental levy, not just collecting, they must rise up to work and ensure that these ends are biting up.
Will you agree with some people that claim that Lagos is a unique state compared to other people?
It is. Lagos, that's what we say, it's a center of excellence. And that's why we have the opportunities more than all other states. You can't compare Lagos State to Zamfara State. You can't compare to Kaduna State. You can't compare to Ekiti. And you know that Lagos State used to be the federal capital territory, yes, in the military areas. So this added more advantage to Lagos State. Lagos State sits in the borderline with Ghana, with all these countries. So we have all this advantage in Lagos State, and is more unique than any other state in Nigeria. To a large extent.
All right, sir. Since you believe that Lagos offers unlimited opportunities,
not unlimited, it's only about
emphasis.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Okay, since you believe that Lagos offers opportunities to people and business owners, just so to say, how will you advise somebody that is just coming into Lagos, or somebody that just wants to move?
I'm not a fan of the basic. Is it basic or is that person? they are coming to Lagos State, you know, there are three, is it
NSC of Bessel.
because of the it's sufficient. Those three images, I think they are still there. Yes, they are still there. So they speak for themselves, and they need to, you know, you must not be too slow. You must not be too, you know, sluggish. You must be too forward at times. So you just keep your calm, and everything depends on God and your heart. And good neighborliness, try to reach out to people, because you will always need people in your environment to assist to do one of it. Somebody will recommend you. Somebody will know what you are doing and push your card to another person to link you up in Lagos. And once you are able to know what you are doing and you do it perfectly well, Lagos will appreciate you. Lagos will promote you.
And with your Lagos experience and the years you've been in Lagos, people could change one thing in Lagos. What would that be?
If I could change one thing in Lagos, what would I change? If I have the power, the wherewithal to work on the youth, emphasizing on the youth, giving them more information. Information is power. Information is knowledge, is, you know, creating avenues where we can have seminars to mentor this younger generation.
Like you used to do back then.
I think that I will go back that memory lane to start that again all over. To, you know, because as they are growing now, they need mentorship, they need knowledge, they need information. So I think if I have my way, my power, I will venture into that arena and change the hand of the clock.
So let's talk about your hopes for the future of Lagos. Zen.
We have brighter hopes. We have hopes. We have high hopes. The Lagos State is getting better. Lagos State is increasing. Lagos State, you know, so many opportunities are coming up in Lagos State. So I have high hopes in Lagos State under this. We have people, young people doing their bit. We have people who can point and this guy they are doing something. And I want to also on that note appreciate this the chairman of the local government. We are not a politician. But you know, we need to, he's a young guy. He's very pretty fine. He said, we asked listening parents on the occasions that met it in. And you can see that things are moving. We will ask, in case you have any issue, please let me know. So with this, which is the government that is close to us, we have hopes that Lagos State will get to that height with all impact.
Right. So what life lesson would you say Lagos has taught?
To be smart, to be hopeful, to believe in dreams, that dreams come true. That's Lagos. Believe, hopes that dreams come true. You can see, can I mention this?
Yes. It is
Lagos State has produced men that is now on the committee in the national level, at the national level. We have the likes of News Banner in Lagos. We have the likes of Aregbesola in Lagos. We have the likes of Professor Yemi Osinbajo in Lagos.
Let's bring it down to a power that.
We have the likes of this. What do you have it there? We have some great people that have risen. We have let me mention names. Let me see. There's this Kwame guy. I forgot his name.
Yes,
Kwame. He stays here.
Yes.
He's from Lagos. Who else again? There's this other guy too that plays football.
We have so many.
So many of them that Lagos has produced. There's this guy that sings. Is it Terry G? He's from Lagos. There is another guy, this popular guy that sings one song about him going recently at the time. Nigeria,
okay, that's it.
Idris, I think, is it from here? Or he's connected one way or the other?
I can't say.
You know, so we have all these politicians, we have great minds. We have this our brother here who is doing fine. We have great people. You know, we have someone that have the reason that we cannot remember their names now, but we know that Lagos has produced some great people. Lagos has taken.
You know, we want to appreciate you for coming on my Lagos Experience today on Impact of Radio. But on the final note, what will you say to the good people of Impact as we continue to hope for a brighter and rewarding people in the world?
Oh, is to stand up, to rise up to the occasion, to brace up for the challenges that the future has in store, to see the hopes that lies ahead. And in that hopes, will be the bearing and challenges. We must rise up. We must be determined. Lagos State is going to be brighter. Lagos State is going to be more rewarding. Lagos State is going to be more promising. But in-house, inherent in it are challenges that we cannot do away without it. We are like twins. We can't put them out. But with determination, we can always see the dreams come true. If for the people to believe in ourselves. We were at that time, so many years ago, we were much more younger. Look at what is happening. We are growing up, and this is one of the seeds that we saw by you. This radio station was one of the seeds that was sown at that time. We had that vision. Long time ago, like dreams come true. Dreams come true, and that should serve as an encouragement to the younger ones. Believe in yourself. Whatever you know how to do best, please continue. Be consistent. Be persistent in doing it. One day, it will yield the expected result. So I just want to encourage everyone for their year, my base. This is my base to believe in the hopes that lie ahead and brace up for the challenges that comes with it.
Yes, we must rise up and hope for a brighter, rewarding future, knowing fully well that there will surely be challenges, but we must be determined and be ready to excel in all we do. Those were the words of Barrister Olayinka Ujembola, a legal practitioner who was born and bred in Lagos, and today we can testify that he is a better man and he is a thorough son of the soil, somebody that the people of Ipapo can beat their chest for and say, this is one of us. The Lord wants to the glory of God. Yeah, we want to appreciate you.
Thank you so much
for having us. And we hope when next we call on you, you will.
Thank you so much.
So it has been a wonderful session with the law himself by Barrister Olayinka Ujembola. A special appreciation goes to the producer of this program, my Lagos Experience on Impact Radio, Ololade Olanireti. And I remain yours truly, the mayor of Lagos City. See you, God's willing, same time, same station, next week by God.